When people say, more money than God, what might be a real number for that amount of money on earth that God has? If you're looking at the Catholic Church alone, God has at least $73 billion in assets. That makes the church almost as rich as Michael Bloomberg, about as rich as the state of Rhode Island, and wealthier than Ivory Coast, Uzbekistan, or Croatia. Let's look at the Catholic Church because, with 1.36 billion members around the world, Catholics make up the biggest denomination in the biggest religious group on the planet. It's also one of the wealthiest. The church has vast assets, including billions in real estate and some priceless art, not to mention the Vatican Bank. But its finances are largely secret. Tallying that immense wealth is pretty much impossible. There are also national churches in countries like the United States and Germany, which have decentralized economic systems. In other words, the Archdiocese of New York will have so many churches, so many schools, so many hospitals. It owns so much real estate. But very few of the dioceses issue financial statements that would pass muster with a CPA. With those caveats in mind, here's what we do know about the Catholic Church's wealth. A 2018 investigation found that the assets and investments of the Australian Catholic Church in the state of Victoria were worth more than $9 billion in Australian dollars. They extrapolated from that figure that the church holds more than 30 billion Australian dollars in assets across Australia. That's roughly 25 billion in US dollars, adjusted for inflation. Based on these figures, the church is clearly the largest non-government property owner, by value, in the state, and close to the largest in Australia. Trinity Church alone has a portfolio worth $6 billion, the New York Times reported in 2019. That's roughly $7 billion in 2023 dollars for the historic New York Church. The New York Times noted the church is a developer, with a real estate arm that controls ground leases and office space rentals in the buildings it owns. That's roughly $65 billion for real estate. Financial statements from 2021 show that the Institute for the Works of Religion, also known as the Vatican Bank, earned a net profit of €18.1 million and had a total of roughly €2.8 billion in assets, which amounts to more than $3 billion after adjusting for inflation. The Vatican City Bank is a private financial institution, with no branches, that's been at the center of several financial scandals. In recent years, the church has worked to reform it. Last year, the Vatican's former finance minister spoke with the Vatican News about the Holy See's financial statements for 2021, revealing that it had €3.9 billion in total assets. Adjusted for 2023 dollars, that's almost $5 billion. In total, that's about $8 billion for the Vatican City Bank. The Vatican houses tens of thousands of pieces of art in its 26 museums, including the Sistine Chapel, which contains works from some of the most renowned artists in history. There's Raphael's fresco The School of Athens and Michelangelo's fresco The Creation of Adam. In 2004, a Vatican accountant said that St. Peter's Basilica and the Sistine Chapel were priceless and listed at a symbolic €1. Some of the art is part of the physical structure of its buildings, like the paintings on the Sistine Chapel. If you somehow liberated some of the artwork from the structures they're a part of, they'd reach stratospheric prices. And there are many, many other cultural treasures, thousands upon thousands of priceless value in the Vatican collections. Paintings, frescoes, sculptures, books, manuscripts, antiquities. In total, this amount is priceless. So we have entered a period of greater transparency with the Catholic Church. But it's likely we'll never truly know the extent of its assets. Invest wisely. And as always, take care of your money.